Welcome, everyone. This is the Bowie Advisory Planning Board meeting of December 15th. The agenda has two items. The first is the Bowie variance BV 320, which involves a property at 8901 Elm Avenue. And the second case would be the preliminary plan, a subdivision plan for Mill Branch Crossing. I'm Joe Minert, the city's planning director. I'd like to just give some of the ground rules for participation in the hearings tonight. Each agenda item will be called separately, and anyone out there who would like to participate, we would ask that you sign under the Q&A function of Zoom. Basically indicate wish to speak in the Q&A function in Zoom, and at the appropriate time during the public hearing, your name will be called and your microphone will be unmuted, and you will be recognized for one statement only. We will not use the Q&A function to answer questions during the meeting. It's only simply to sign up to speak during the public hearing section of the meeting. So all you need to do is go under the Q&A function and type the words "wish to speak," and you'll be recognized at the appropriate time. At this point, I'm going to turn the meeting to the chairman, Mr. Terry Rogers, and he will convene the Advisory Planning Board. Terry?
Okay. Thank you, Joe. Good evening, everybody. I inadvertently only printed out one of the cases, so I'm going to basically start with the first case that Joe mentioned. So, Joe, would you give us that case number, please?
That's BV 3-20.
Right, I haven't printed that one out yet. I apologize. Okay, so we'll start with case number BV 3-20. And the hearing tonight will involve a presentation by city staff, followed by a presentation by the applicant. Board members will have an opportunity to ask questions of staff and their applicant following their presentation. The board will also have an option to hear comments submitted by the public for the public hearing and any questions received during the hearing. Board members will be polled for their comments, if any, prior to a motion. Regarding this case, all those wishing to speak, please state your name.
Joe Minert.
The applicant here.
Bill Chesley.
That's on the next case.
The next case, Mr. Chesley.
Miss Tracy Scudder is
Tracy
Oh,
Scudder.
sorry about that.
Tracy Scudder, present, representing the applicant.
Okay, and the applicant.
I'm sorry, the applicant is not here, sir. I actually met with Mr. Danner earlier today. We had a Zoom conference to prepare for this hearing, but I got a call about 30 minutes before this hearing started from his wife, who says that he has fallen ill. And so he is in the bed right now, and he asked me to please proceed with this hearing. So I'm sorry that he is unable to be here tonight, but he has taken ill, unfortunately.
Okay, not a problem. Okay. Well, will all speakers please raise your right hand and respond yes or I do? Do you swear or affirm that the statements you are about to give are true to the best of your knowledge, information, or belief?
I do.
I do.
Okay, very good. So we'll proceed with a presentation from staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening, members of the board. I'm Joe Minert, the City of Bowie Planning Director. Before you tonight is variance case BV 3-20. This is for property located at 8901 Elm Avenue in the Old Town Bowie or Huntington section of the city. It's an undeveloped triangular piece of property, approximately 11,000 square feet in area. In terms of our advertising for tonight's hearing, we did post the property with several public hearing signs and sent notices to 7 adjacent properties, certified mail, as well as notifying the county of this application on November 24th. So this hearing tonight has been properly advertised. As I mentioned, the case involves a 11,000 square foot piece of property in the RR zone. The RR zone has a minimum lot size of 20,000 square feet. This property is below that and is looking for a variance of approximately 8,473 square feet in order to make up that difference. Also, the applicant is requesting a variance of 4.62 feet from the minimum front yard setback, which is a 25-foot setback normally in the RR zone. So this case involves two variances, one for lot area and one for the front yard setback. We provided the normal information packet to you, including photographs of the subject property and some additional information from the master plan and zoning maps. I'll address the three criteria before turning it over to the applicant's representative, Ms. Scudder. The board is aware there are three criteria that are required to be met in order for a variance to be approved. The first is that the specific parcel of land has exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape, exceptional topographic conditions, or other extraordinary conditions or situations. The applicant provided a statement of justification, which is attachment 3 to the report. Also attachment 2 is the site plan. It shows the triangular piece of property. In terms of this first criterion, staff agrees with the statement of justification that indicates that the property does have an unusual shape and that constrains its ability to meet the setback requirements, and that the conditions being with the property being located at the edge of the Huntington subdivision adjacent to property that is in the RE zone or residential estate zone, the property really is not able to be added to increase the area to meet the minimum requirement of 20,000 square feet. So staff concludes that this first criterion is met based on those conditions. The second criterion is that the strict application of the zoning ordinance will result in an unusual or peculiar practical difficulty to the owner of the property. And again, the statement of justification addresses this criterion thoroughly in staff's opinion, that having to comply with the minimum lot size is not possible because of the location of the property and the fact that the applicant does not own additional property, and also that the shape of the property makes it impossible for a reasonable sized house to be built on that property. And so the applicant is proposing a modest size house with a one-car garage, which is similar to most of the other houses in the immediate neighborhood, many of which this particular builder, Danner Holding Company, has constructed. And also there's this compatibility issue in terms of the lot sizes. All of those lot sizes are about 10,000 square feet, and this lot is actually technically larger than that. And so staff finds that this second criterion is met based on those factors. The third criterion is that the variance will not substantially impair the intent, purpose, or integrity of the general plan or the master plan. And that's basically looking to make sure that what's being asked for is not going to infringe on the integrity of those plans. And the master plan actually has a policy to protect and maintain and enhance the character and heritage of the city of Bowie, and encouraging compatible infill development is one of the strategies. And so this particular proposal, in terms of the house that is being cited on the lot and the type of development that's proposed, is in keeping with the immediate neighborhood, and therefore reinforces the land use recommendations of the master plan. So staff finds that this third criterion is also met. And so in conclusion, staff found that all three of the criteria for variance approval are met in this instance, and for application BV3-20, staff recommends approval of a variance of 8,407 square feet from the minimum area requirements of the zoning ordinance, and a variance of 4.62 feet from the minimum front yard setback of 25 feet. And that concludes the staff presentation.
Thank you Mr. Minor. Very thorough as usual. Ms. Scudder?
Again, good evening, Chairman Rogers and members of the council. For the record, my name is Tracy Scudder. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, which is Danner Holding Company, LLC. Before I proceed, I would just first like to thank Mr. Joe Minor for his work in this case, as well as Mr. Frank Stevens and Marianne Baird, who also assisted with this application. There is one thing that I wanted to correct. My statement of justification referred to a one-car garage, but this house will actually have a two-car garage. And the site plan that was submitted with this application is correct. It actually shows a garage that is 20 feet deep and 35.33 feet wide. But my statement of justification made reference to a one-car garage that was 12 feet wide and 20 feet deep. So that was a mistake that I made in my statement, and that was incorporated into the staff report. So I just wanted to see if we could correct that measurement with regard to the parking garage, the width.
Okay, so thank you, Ms. Scudder. Mr. Minor, does that impact at all your approval for the decision?
No, sir. I think that the type of house is a reasonably sized house. I did mention the garage, one-car garage, because that's what was mentioned in the statement of justification. But I still think the factors, the situation of the property being triangular in shape and being at the edge of the subdivision, really are the overriding considerations here that support the justification for the variance.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Minor. So, Ms. Scudder, if you want to proceed.
Yes, well, the applicant, we have had an opportunity to review the staff report, and we agree with the findings that have been made in the staff report, and also we agree with the conclusion that was reached, the recommendation for approval. And so with that being said, rather than repeat everything that Mr. Minor so eloquently presented, I will just say that again, we agree with the staff report and we respectfully request approval of the subject application.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Minor, is there anyone signed up to speak?
No, sir, not on this case.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so with that, we will turn to our board for discussion, comment and discussion. Do you have any comments or discussion from any of our board? Okay, I see everyone shaking their head. So with that, we will first declare the public hearing as being closed. And I will now accept a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion on this case.
Okay, please. Mr. Shepherd.
Thank you, sir. I move to approve BV 3-20 docket 20-10 as the specific parcel of land has exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape, exceptional topographical conditions, or other extraordinary situations or conditions as the property is unique, criteria is met as noted in the statement of justification. The second point is the strict application of the zoning ordinance will result in peculiar and unusual practical difficulties to or exceptional undue hardship upon the owner of the property. And the criteria is met as the shape of the property makes it almost impossible for a sized house comparable to the other size of the houses in the neighborhood. And the third is the variance will not substantially impair the intent, purpose, integrity of the general or the master plan. what's being asked for doesn't infringe on what's noted in those plans at all. This criteria is keeping up with the neighborhood, the aesthetics of the neighborhood, and enforces the land use recommendation of the neighborhood. Therefore, I would like to approve granting BV 3 TAC 20 with a variance of 8,473 square feet from the minimum lot requirement by section 27,442, with a variance of 4.62 feet from the minimum front yard setback required, and also with the 2-car garage.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shuttler. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
I second.
Okay, so we have a motion for approval by Mr. Carl Shuttler and a second by Ms. Deidre Trass. Are we ready for the question? All in favor? Motion, please signal. Before I do that, Joe, do we need to amend the, before we take the actual vote, do we need to amend the statement of justification to include a 2-car garage as opposed to the 1-car?
No, sir, the record reflects that, and that will be reflected in the minutes as well.
All right, well, thank you. So with that being said, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, opposed, you have the same right. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you very much, Mr. Minor and Ms. Scudder.
Thank
very
you
much
all
for your
very much.
participation.
Thank you for your approval and happy holidays.
And the same to you. Stay safe, please.
You as well.